Hey there, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and blog. Today I have a special video and blog post for you for the Color Throwdown Challenge number 508. It's special because they asked me to be a guest designer for this particular color challenge. And so the color challenge is purple, green, yellow, and red. And so I jumped on the chance to get in there. So what I'm doing is I started off with a bunch of different colors of cardstock, and I don't know the colors, like the names of the colors. I just had these in my stash, and these are all scraps that I had. I just went with colors that matched the color challenge, and I am running that through my Sizzix Sidekick with the Simon Says Stamp Feathers Die. It's super cute, and I had this idea in my head of using those bold colors with these feathers. And so I'm just running it through with each of the different colors that I have as many times as I have scraps. I didn't know exactly how many I wanted, so I cut out a bunch. And now I kept the negative for each of these as well because I wanted to do a little bit of shadowing on the feathers. And there I'm using some Distress ink in the color Mode Lawn. And it was just easier because there's some intricacy in those feathers. It was just easier to keep the negative, and that way I could just pop that right back in there. Sometimes they gave me a little bit of fits, but I could pop it back in there, and then I could run the color with my mini ink blending tool over the sides. And the color here is the Distress ink color in Fired Brick. So I'm going to do the exact same thing, and it's very subtle. You almost can't see it, but I wanted a little bit of variation. I didn't want a lot. And then this one is Dusty Concord in the Distress ink color. And I'm doing the same thing as well. Again, very, very subtle. Almost can't see it, but I did it with all the feathers. And then the next color is Fossilized Amber. That's the yellow that I'm using. It's nice because I had colors that matched all of these. And I don't know what it is about these colors. They're just so vibrant and pretty together. Whoever chose this one did very well. Super fun. So again, just rubbing that color or blending that color all over the sides of those feathers. And now I'm taking some Simon Says Stamp 120 pound cardstock for my card base, and I scored that at 5.5 inches. So it's a top folding A2 size card that measures, when folded, 5.5 inches by 4.25. And all I'm going to do is take some Tombow Mono Multi adhesive, and I am going to adhere all these feathers. Now, if I had to do this card over again, I would not have chosen that glue. And here's why. That glue is fantastic for solid images, and it works really well to keep your cardstock down or whatever it is that you're gluing down. But it has two uses. It is also really good for, like, let's say I wanted to just put the glue on the back side of that and let it dry. Well, it would stay tacky. So it's great for making masks or repositionable things. And because those feathers have intricacy to them, some of that glue seeped out of the sides. And like I said, if I had it to do over again, I wouldn't have used this glue. I probably would have used like my Ranger Multi-Medium Matte, because that dries clear and there's no tackiness to it. But again, hindsight, you know, we live and learn, and won't do that again. After I had all those feathers adhered down, I turned it over and I cut off the excess, and I actually saved a few of those little pieces because I ended up filling in a few spots on the sides with those as well. But you can see that tacky glue, once it's dry, kind of even sticks to my scissors. So this glue, like all glues, have their purpose, which is why we as crafters tend to have so many different kinds of glue. But yeah. So my next step was to grab this Finetec Kuretake Finetec Starry Colors. Sorry, that was a bit of a tongue twister. And I put some water in there, and I want to do some gold splatters. I thought that would just be a nice little touch with these feathers. Add a little bit of something, something. And once I had that done, I set that off to the side to dry. And for my sentiment, I have a piece of black cardstock from my stash, and I am using the Simon Says Stamp Yes You Can stamp set. And I've got a couple of sentiments on my block, and I'm going to stamp those with my Versamark ink, which is a clear sticky ink, and I'm going to cover that with my ultrafine white embossing powder from Simon Says stamp as well. The one thing I forgot about this stamp, because I have used it before, is that my B is a little bit, I think maybe in the manufacturing or something like that, it got a little wonky. And so when I stamp it, because this is the second time it's happened, it will just, it stamps the whole thing. So I just used a paintbrush and I kind of got that out of the center, and I now use my X-Acto knife to kind of brush away some of that excess. And then where it got a little bit messed up, I am using my white Signo gel pen to just fill in the gaps. So it's fine, I don't mind. I think that adds to the homemade element. And now I'm using my Fiskars wire paper cutter. It has that wire guide, and just trimming out my sentiment, and then I use some foam tape on the back of that and then adhered that to the front. And once I have that centered using my T ruler, which I'll have to pick it up and kind of reposition that, that'll end up finishing off this card. I really like these colors. I love how this turned out. That color combo will go into my repertoire of color combos, and I will use it again. So I hope you liked this card. If you did, please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by.